is.
We should be live.
Woohoo! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 3 Galaxies. I am your game master. I almost said host. That's not quite true. If anyone's the host, it's Burn.
Yeah, I was wondering why there was such a question mark at the end of that sentence.
Because I was like, that's not right. How do I fix this?
You don't. I mean,
last week, you guys finished up your preparations and returned to the Cyber Conclave with a few more passengers and a large frigate. Well, actually, a small frigate, all things considered, but large for what you're used to. You got back to the Cyber Collective, made contact with the Resistance, namely the wife of who you spoken to earlier, but you made contact with 2X103, handed over the cure, and we're talking with them about getting your friends back. They had agreed to help you get your friends back, not only because you had just given them the cure, which of course they're still running their own tests, but they're more than willing to believe you for now, but also because they think it's a pretty crappy thing that happened to you. And while you were discussing your options and plans, and basically she was telling you, we didn't expect you to get back in an hour, so it's actually been about 7 or 8 hours, but because of the travel time,
6 hours of yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They get you,
but
though.
right, their reconnaissance teams haven't even reported back in yet, so we don't know if they found anything or not. However, while you were discussing this, you did pick up a very weak radio transmission, which is odd given that almost no one here uses radio transmissions, and it turned out to be from Cyber 6 himself. Somehow he was transmitting a conversation between him and Cyber 4, which didn't seem to end that well. It seemed to end with Cyber 4 ordering people to strip Cyber 6 down and parade him through the streets.
I didn't know about the parading him through the streets part. I knew they wanted to strip him.
No. He was going to. He had threatened him to either join me, or I'll strip you down, put you on a float, and parade you through the streets. And 2X103 actually said that is something that they do to very heinous criminals, like the ones they want to make examples of. So it is something that happens from time to time. Yeah, and you were able to track the signal back to a high security detention area, or prison, for lack of a better word. And that's pretty much where we ended last session. So, any questions before we jump in?
No questions. Not for me, at least.
Everyone else good?
I think I'm pretty good.
I think I'm pretty good. I got a one-on-one RP, if that's cool.
Sure, by all means.
Yeah.
With who?
With 3X101.
3X101's dead. You mean his
2X10?
wife?
Yes.
3.
Yeah, you gotta give us a break, Squee.
I completely understand. I completely understand. Here you go. All right. So we'll say, well, where would Isaac want this?
He'll just pull her off on the side after she showed us everything, the bodies and whatnot, and talk to her.
Okay. She will say, yes, what questions do you have that I have not answered?
Well, I'm honestly just a bit curious about a couple of things. You say that we are organics and you're not, and that's true for the most part. You're obviously made of metal and whatnot, but what I'm curious about is why were you referring to us as thinking differently?
She hesitates for the briefest of moments, and she says, we have not had contact with any of the societies outside of our own conclave for almost 500 years. Not only time itself being a huge factor in how much a culture and the way things could change, we are fundamentally different than you in almost every way. We do not eat as you do. We need the barest of organic material to sustain us. We do not sit or rest or even build society the way you do, I would think. This, and given the amount of time, would inevitably lead to massive shifts in how a culture views oneself and others.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that because I thought for a bit because we are actually a lot more similar than you might think. I mean, for one, after seeing this, and he's gonna motion to the bodies. Well, you're essentially taking everything down to its most basic level. You're essentially a brain inside of a metal body, whereas I am a brain, and he's gonna knock on his head inside of a body that's comprised of flesh and bone.
Uh, well, in taken in that context, I do see your meaning, but I'm not sure my people would see it that way. You were, well, you were born like that. Your brain was designed to be attached to that body. What I have inside me, what is me, is implanted.
That is true. That is very true. I don't know. It's just a strange concept to me. This whole this whole thing and the whole dilemma you have with should these people be allowed to, well, should your society continue to do this kind of process in order to survive?
I can understand and even sympathize with that. There are many things about you that I do not grasp or fathom. How do you how do you maintain your color your entire life? Does that not cause problems? If I did not wish it, I could change my color. I could change my entire exoskeleton. But you cannot.
No.
That must be difficult.
It is what it is. I mean, there's
Says
some
with
things you can
such
change. There's some things you can't, and you just have to
she
live with it.
she looks at her hand and she says, "You say it so casually. It is true, we think very differently."
And that was basically it.
Okay, she would nod. And then if there were no other further questions, she would suggest you rejoin your friends.
Yeah.
All right, so rejoin the friends. What are you guys thinking? What's the ballpark ideas here? To let you know before you say, they did say they could smuggle you into Peachtree, which is the large city-sized complex. And they might be able to like get you to the prison, but they, as of right now, that's all they have offered.
Okay, well, how do they plan on smuggling us? I'm curious about that.
Uh, Typically, she would say, well, Peachtree is a large complex and has many, shall you say, lapses in security. We, the Resistance, commonly use small businesses fronts, such as food delivery. We don't require much, but we do require trace amounts. And if you feed enough people, that leads to decently sized containers. Also, supplies, repairs, models, things of that nature. We have several crates large enough that we could hide you in to get you into Peachtree unnoticed.
Okay. They don't typically scan these crates for contraband or anything like that, or do you have countermeasures in place?
And only if you are attempting to go into a high secure area. Peachtree itself is, uh, well, it would it would be unrealistic to scan so many items going in and out. The difficulty is simply that you are so different looking, you'd stand out no matter where you went.
Okay. Speaking of different looking, then, um, where do you plan on dropping us off? Where will these crates be delivered where we can emerge?
That is flexible, depending on your plans, but we could conceivably get you all the way towards the outside of the prison. The facility itself is a solitary building surrounded by a several hundred meters of flat, open terrain.
Hello?
Yeah, could you not hear me? Did you guys not
I
hear me?
heard a
I heard you.
flat, and then you went
Oh,
blank.
she
Oh,
said of flat, featureless terrain.
oh.
Sorry, not 100 meters, 100 feet, several hundred feet. So I just realized I said meters. That's like 3 times as much is what I meant. Several hundred feet.
Do you have access to security systems within the building?
No, not within a high security building like that.
Could you get us? How close could we be delivered to a security hub?
A security hub for the prison?
Yes.
Well, let me think. Depending on what we use to smuggle you in, we could get you as far up to the prison itself across the uh, flat space, but we would have no, at least at the moment, we have no reliable cover or reason to get you inside of the prison. None of our jobs delivered there.
Xavier ponders for a moment and he says, well, I have a question, a hypothetical question for you then. Imagine organics such as ours break one of your laws, or a few of them. Nothing major, but something where they'll have to restrain us. Obviously, they don't have a prison just for organics. If we committed a crime around peach trees, would we be held in this prison in peach trees?
If you committed a crime in that specific sector, it is
Yeah.
very likely.
Okay.
Though we should also consider the possibility that Cyber 4 may warn of your coming.
They're still broadcasting to warn us
Yes.
about the mess as well.
They
Right.
can have no way of knowing or expecting you there specifically, but all of Peachtrees is on alert for you.
Okay, well then, number one, obviously we need to come up with some sort of disguise. We spoke before, separately, away from you, um, of repurposing some discarded exoskeletons and disguise ourselves as one of your kind. Do you have a place where we could find said exoskeletons? Because that would solve a lot of our problems. One, with the little alarm in regards to our whereabouts, and two, why the hell we would be by a prison.
She she looks at you and her eyes kind of not narrow, but like the irises kind of close so that the pupil is smaller looking.
Uh huh.
And she says, "Yes, there are our, well, I suppose you would call them a graveyard. If a unit gets badly damaged, the our core can be transferred to a new one. It is a delicate process that is not always successful, but it is possible. And that event, the old shell is discarded in large areas that are well, eventually recycled back down.
Okay. We'll need that for sure. Definitely. Definitely.
She looks you up and down and she says, "You would certainly need to attempt to disguise yourself as a larger exoskeleton, as you would not pass reliably for us at our core." And she kind of motions to herself, who is about the same height as you, but as you can see, obviously at her waist, far thinner than any human.
Xavier ponders and he says, what about good old-fashioned corruption? I don't know much about your race, but would it be possible to find an inside person? Someone who can be swayed by material goods or wealth or personal or political favors. Is that known in your species for people to be corrupted?
Yes, absolutely. It
Okay.
is a method we employ on a regular basis.
Xavier turns to the group and he says, that might be an easier way to go rather than having to worry about being smuggled in. And the second any cyber unit sees us, they're going to know we don't belong here. We're organic, right? So we either trundle around an exoskeleton. Well, actually, we should still get the exoskeletons, but we can use the corruption as to why we are in the unit without them needing to scan us or do any other sort of security protocol, right? So we might have to do a little bit of footwork. Some of the group going to retrieve the exoskeletons, while another portion of the group attempts to find one or two security personnel for the prison who can be swayed to look the other way and let our new exoskeleton selves in.
She nods. She says, "It is possible what you say. Our
I
normal
certainly hope
method
so.
for exploiting such connections is lengthy. Usually, we insert one of us into their ranks and slowly determine who's a good target to approach, though I assume you are hoping to work on a much faster timetable."
Do you have people already infiltrated in peach trees?
Peach trees, yes, but this facility, no. Please understand, Peach trees itself is like a city.
I understand.
This particular prison facility, and in fact, all prison facilities are high enough security that we haven't even attempted such a thing yet. It is, well, until now, the danger has not been worth the reward.
Well, guys, any other plans? Because I'm thinking exoskeleton and possible corruption to get us in there. You know what I mean? Or we can go gung ho, but the problem is that this is a secure facility. So if we just pop out of boxes and start blasting, I think we're gonna get surrounded and overwhelmed pretty quick, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying there isn't going to be any sort of fight or any sort of prison break, but I
Do you
don't
guys?
know.
I
I don't
could be
know.
wrong. Is there a parade going on, or is that like a
She,
different thing?
oh, is this in character or out of character?
This is in character.
She nods. She says, Cyber 4 threatened to parade him down the street. Such an event happens from time to time, though I expect in the next few hours or two so we will hear a a message from Cyber 4 inviting us to a location for it to happen. Typically, what happens on these rare occasions is the subject in question is tied to several support beams on a flat-bedded vehicle and literally paraded down the street as our society mocks or insults them. I am
Is
not
is
following. But
4 like with that, or is that like a Is that like a different thing? Is Easy disconnected from that?
Oh, Cyber 4 would almost certainly not show himself so publicly. He has many detractors.
Well, how about this? Why don't we preemptively become the drivers of this nice float?
Huh.
That's really interesting.
But where will where will this lead us? Oh, you mean like we're going to use that to rescue Cyber 6? Just wait for him to get loaded on and then drive the hell out of there?
Yeah, kind of. Generally go through the float thing and then just kind of drive off in not the right direction and never to be seen again.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else on the float? You said he'd be affixed to any sort of beams. Would there be anything else attached to this float that, I don't know, say non-disguised individuals could conceal themselves into? I mean, if we could hide most of our group inside the float ahead of time, we won't need to worry about costumes for all of us. With all due respect to Kid, they are the smallest, and so I don't know if we'll ever be able to get a proper exosuit for them. But if they can be concealed within either the platform, the base, other fixtures in the float itself, then maybe we only have to worry about one or two disguises. And then if shit hits the fan, then poof, we pop out and make a daring escape.
Anna, you had a plus sign?
To add on to that, if you're willing to risk some of your rebels, I understand if you wouldn't, stage a fake attack on it on the float as a distraction, and also giving us reason to go off course.
And in the chaos, yeah, and in the confusion, we get out of there. That's
She again ponders your decision, your questions, and then she says, she turns her head and kind of loudly, like to the next room. For X1013, you hear, yes? Didn't you drive one of the large vehicles commonly used for such floats and parades? Oh, yeah, a couple of years ago. Why? Come in here for a second, please. And then you see another cyber unit walk in. And she'll briefly relay again what you guys were considering. And he says, well, hell. I mean, yeah, it's not as easy as just walking up and doing it. But an interesting thing to that is that, I was involved in a few of them. We had a couple several years ago. They were paraded through the streets. Apparently, it killed over 16 cybers. But the thing is, they're all highfalutin security, sure, but the prisons themselves don't have the vehicle large enough to do this, so they always contract out to us. Our company's security was nothing to sneeze at, but it certainly wasn't, guard level security. And the few times I was involved, if we were there in the car, in the uniform, so to speak, well, they didn't even think about it twice. So we have one of those vehicles. We could repurpose it, give us a few hours, maybe build some hidey holes or something for you to stick in there. And of course, we'd have to find a way to make sure the other actual real vehicle didn't show up. But yeah, it's possible.
I like this.
Yeah, I like where this is going.
Yes.
me too. All right, so I guess we'll need someone to drive the float, and we'll need someone to disguise themselves. Now, I can handle a few land vehicles. You might recall. He looks over to Isaac and Lucas. Back on. Oh, shit. What's that plan? Cyrene. I drove that van around, and that was a little bit clunkier. Unless anyone else thinks they can drive something like that, I'll volunteer as the driver.
Too risky for me.
So
I drove a bulldozer. I
You
can
drove a
drive
bulldozer
anything.
into a wall.
Yeah, it did.
Were you
The only
aiming for the wall?
no.
No.
Okay. Wow.
The only thing I can really quote unquote drive is I can ride a horse. That's really it. And even then, I'm
Okay.
not that great at it.
All right,
If
how
it-
about this? Lucas and I are the drivers. I'll be the main driver. If something happens to me, or I get hurt, or I need some help, then Lucas can step on in. Which means we just need to worry about fashioning up 2 exosuits, right?
Yeah, I
And
think
then the
so.
rest, we hide in the float itself. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I mean, I came up with ideas, so I love it already.
Sure. Sure. Okay, so we just need 2 objectives in order to do this, right? Before this freaking parade starts, we need to secure some exosuits, and we need to locate where the platform, where the main float is being stored, and we'll have to infiltrate that. So, who wants to be infiltration location team, and who wants to be get us some exosuits? Because I don't think we're gonna have enough time to do one and then the other. How much time before this freaking parade even starts? He asks the rebel leader.
uh, sorry. 2x103 says, well, he needs to give at least a few hours for people to organize, and we haven't heard a message from him yet. I would expect to hear it in the next 30 minutes or so, and if we do, perhaps 6 hours. Though we already have a vehicle that would suffice. It would need some modification, but stealing one won't be necessary.
But
Stopping the original one from getting there, however you choose to do it, would be.
okay, it would make sense to just hijack the one on route.
Well, you were suggesting hiding several of your people inside. We would need to alter
Have
it for
prep
that to
time.
be possible. With enough time, we could perhaps cut away little holes and cover them or conceal them so that your friends could be, well, wherever you would like them to be
All
on
right,
the
what do you
vehicle.
think, guys?
Well,
So what we need to do is stop the previous truck?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
We need to stop
So
the
that
previous
can-
truck before they get into contact with Cyber 4
And more importantly, we have to stop that truck so it doesn't look like we hijacked it. So low key.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I was just thinking, because like that could be slashing tires, cutting out the engine, stuff like that. Just general breakdowns.
And eliminate the crew.
Easy enough, but I don't really know the roads very well. Luckily, I assume you still. And he looks over to the rebel leader. I assume you still have a lot of connections. What we'd probably need is a bit of a roadblock of some kind, an accident to occur, maybe something that would avert somebody to drive down a different direction, and then have that particular route lead to somewhere which is less known, maybe less signal, something that we can actually, be able to capture or at least waste a lot of time with if we really can't even get to the vehicle itself.
That should be doable. She nods. Hang on, out of character. Are you talking about to once you guys are on the parade, of reason to divert it, or are you talking about the original thing that you need to stop?
The original thing that we need to stop.
She goes, well, I'm sure there would be any number of ways of preventing it from reaching its destination, though your friend has the gist of it. If we are not careful in how we do it, then it will become apparent that they are in trouble and everything could fall to the wayside. But a roadblock or something of that nature to divert it would be easy enough, yes.
An actual accident would probably be something that would be the best way to do such things, but I mean, faking is just as good sometimes.
Do you guys have like probably don't know what sewer systems are? Underground tunnel bits under the road.
Yeah, underground infrastructure.
Ooh, a pipe
Maintenance
break.
tunnels. Maintenance tunnels.
We do have tunnels for electrical wiring, yes.
Are they
How
big
big
enough
are
to
they?
hold a person
A person,
or
yes.
two?
Quite a few to walk comfortably down there. No vehicles, but I'd say that 2 or 3 of you could walk side by side.
Do they have like coverings that come up in the middle of the road? Or
On roll me a
Access
D100 for that. Yeah, roll me a D100 for that. That's a good question.
do I need to call
Choose high or low.
someone else do it?
Low.
All right.
Yeah!
She nods. She says, at certain intervals, yes, there would need to be accesses to the surface to replace and repair lights on the road.
Kid turns to the rest and goes, if we hide underneath it and get them to park over one of the hatches, we could use that as cover for when they're stopped and ambush them pretty easily.
It's true.
Yeah, it works for me.
She'll say, that would not be hard to do. Give the semblance of some sort of construction to divert them down a less used road and create a blockage of some sort to get them to stop right above or around one of such access panels. I have set up more complicated things before.
All right.
Yeah.
So now it's just exosuits. Acquiring them and modifying them. That's the important thing. If we were able to acquire... Now, is this something that your team could do on their own? Acquire and modify enough, take the measurements that you need for me and Lucas, and come up with your own kind of exoskeleton? I could
That
leave the body armor I plan on wearing that you could fuse atop of.
I was going to suggest something similar. After all, there's no reason to risk yourselves being seen while acquiring it, and I'm not sure any of you have the expertise needed to modify it.
Probably not, to be honest.
But we do have people that would suffice. If
Okay.
we could get your measurements and understand that you would be wearing one of the bulkier versions of our exoskeleton to hide your features.
That's fine as long as I can still drive a vehicle with it. I have no problems.
I will see what our engineers can whip up for you. We would need a few hours, at least, but it sounds like you have your own project. I assure you, we will have something usable by the time it's needed.
Okay.
And she nods. She says, I'll also look to creating an attack upon the parade itself. Something that long range so that my people could escape unharmed, hopefully, but that still has the desired effect.
Works for me.
All right. So she begins busily preparing for like taking your measurements. You actually have a couple people come by with a what looks like a holographic tape measure. Like it's like a cross between a tape measure and a laser pointer. They'll click a little button, and this little laser light will shine across your body and display actual symbols. So it'll like wrap around your waist and get your inseam, and they almost do a tailor fitting for you. For is it for you and for Lucas?
Yeah, I think that's what we decided will be the people driving the darn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they'll get your measurements, and they say that they're sending people out to try and find said suits. And they also begin working on a plan of attack, though they admit that it's difficult really to. Well, actually, 10-3 is actually talking to you about it's difficult knowing how to plan the attack when they don't know where it's going to be. And as she was telling you that, you all get a message. In fact,
Oh,
all
boy.
of Peach Trees and the surrounding area gets a message that says from Cyber 4 himself. He gets on
Oh,
the
good.
TV and he says, "Hello, citizens of Peach Trees. It is I, Cyber 4, as you know. It has been hid from you for some time that one of our great traitors has returned to us. I was able to track down and apprehend Cyber 6. Yes, yes, I know. It had been a long time since he betrayed us all. The traitor who begrudged your home and your lives, helped our enemies, and then escaped. I have found him. And I dare say I did everything I could to make him see the error of his ways, but there is no salvation for him. He is to be dismantled. But before, it is only right, it is only fair that you, fair people, have a chance to tell him how you feel. In 5 hours, I will be displaying him down the main street of Peach Trees. Please feel free to show him how you feel. That is all." And then the message ends. And 10-3 says, "Well, that certainly was information we needed."
Not only that, but it also makes it very clear that he knows that we know about it. So it makes when we actually go rescue Cyber 6 out of all this from the actual parade, we will definitely need a distraction, a full on attack, because Cyber 4 is going to be expecting this without a doubt. So we'll have to give it to him. We just have to surprise him with our plan B as well.
Yes.
Especially if you can make this attack look like it's coming directly from us. Which I don't quite know how you could do.
Oh, easy. He says one or a few of us would actually do the attack with the rebels as well, make them very visible so it's clear that it's us.
Charlotte raises a hand. You know, if fancy distraction's what you're looking for, I bet you we could make something.
Charlotte, why aren't you on the ship, you bitch?
Well, everyone on the ship is off the ship with you guys, which really just equates to those two and Indigo, because that's pretty much the only
And
people
the
with
mercenaries.
you. And the
And the
mercenaries, right.
mercenaries.
And all 10 of
Um,
them. And
right.
and Jack I almost said Jackson. Well, you know what I mean. Squirrel Boy.
Oh, Paxton's on the frigate.
No, he said he said he was gonna
Lead the
personally.
expedition. Yeah, personally. He's not on the ground team. He's the head honcho in charge of the whole fleet type of thing.
Oh, all right. Okie dokie.
You willing to take the risk?
She smiles. It's no more riskier than what you're planning to do. Hell, I bet it's a bit less riskier.
More than likely.
Make it flashy.
I think we could do that. You don't mind if we use some of your munitions, do you? After
Nope.
all, if we're supposed to make it look like us, it should be our tech, right?
Yep. Fine by me.
So they'll go off and start working with the Cyber Sixes. You guys have some long range missiles, yes?
No?
No, you guys didn't buy any.
We could have.
I thought you guys
Squee,
did.
I feel like Kid would have remembered that. Like that
Okay,
seems
now
like
hold
some-
on. Hold on. What? Hold the fucking phone, okay? I asked, what else are we going to buy? Nobody said shit. So if we want to buy missiles,
I
tell
thought you
me.
guys did buy some missiles.
I don't remember us doing that.
We
We were talking about maybe doing it, but we didn't want to
Yeah.
bog the shit down.
I recall you as a group talking about missiles. I don't think anyone ever actually stated, yes, we want to buy some missiles, but
Yeah.
given that, okay, here's the thing. Normally, there's exceptions to every rule. Given that you guys were about to fly back to the Cyber Collective and had spent so much time and money, dare I say, improving your ship's capabilities, I think it is perfectly reasonable to suggest that the group
that
would
we
have
totally
also
forgot missiles.
that the group would have brought ammunition for said ship.
Yeah, well,
Look,
I
we
mean,
bought
we
the
just
gun. We
get
didn't
there
buy
and
any
we're like,
ammo
no,
for the gun.
here's the thing. Hold on. I'm not denying we could have gotten missiles, but we never actually said how many, or I deducted anything from our totals.
And that's right.
Okay?
And that's why I'm
That's
saying
all I'm trying
I
to
am
say.
Fine.
Yeah,
I
I
get
mean,
it.
if you want to be that generous, fine. But the DM in me is like, you know what? Arming our ship and everything is our responsibility. So if it makes it a little bit tougher that we don't have long range missiles, I say we suffer the consequences for it.
I mean,
just
I'm
radio up to
fine with that.
Paxton, be like, so
They're 6
do you
hours away.
guys
They won't come
have
back, and they won't be able to
anything?
come in time.
No.
So here's the thing. As a GM, I'm stuck between that rock. Like, on the one hand, it's true. I do like you guys to be responsible. However, with fairness to the players and everything involved, no army goes to a battlefield without bows, arrows for their bow. I just can't imagine that happening. But since no one actually said it, let's just make this nice and easy. You have 13 long range missiles.
What kind?
Plasma. Those are the most common kind.
There are no plasma long range.
Oh, wait. Am I thinking different type
There's
of missile?
4
Oh, yeah,
different
it's just
types of
high
high
explosives,
explosives.
probably.
There's fragmentation,
Yeah, the
and
light-
there's armor piercing.
IX.
The light high X.
Light high X. Gotcha.
Mhm.
13 of them. Done.
Yep.
That's all I needed to know.
All right. Okay.
Works for me.
So they're going off to do that, and they say that they'll come back, of course, and let you know what they come up with, so that you can modify it as needed to fit what you're planning to do. But obviously, time being of the essence, they run off to do their thing. They also have a group that has gone out to the scrapyards to acquire the necessary materials to make your disguises. And you guys are left more or less in charge of making sure the actual float doesn't arrive.
Yay!
As I just scooch this prison map off to the archives somewhere.
This is just a question because maybe I just missed it.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing with long range missiles?
Giving them to Charlotte so they can create a distraction.
2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 of them.
All of the missiles.
They're not trying to kill you.
So out of our 13, they're taking 2.
Yes.
Charlotte could use her own missiles.
Daggers only have short range. I mean, not even short range mini missiles.
That's unfortunate.
All right. So, information that you need. First things first. You would have been told from the message given that Main Street is a large street down Peach Trees. However, When people refer to Main Street, they are normally talking of a 2-mile stretch of the road that is the epicenter, basically where people gather for celebrations. And it makes it very likely that while you may not be sure how long the parade's going to be for, those 2 miles at least will almost inevitably be covered. Excuse me. You also know that you have about 5 hours before the parade is supposed to happen, which means the 4X1013, the gentleman who used to be a driver for one of these vehicles, tells you that typically what will happen is an hour or so before the parade is supposed to start, they would arrive at the prison. During that hour, the prison staff would take care of the what's the word I'm looking for?
Transportation?
Sure, the setting up of the prisoner on top of the float, and there would also be guards with him, of course.
The display.
Right, but all of that would have been handled by the prison staff itself. They would then drive to where the parade is supposed to start and then do the parade.
All right. So ideally, we should take out the original vehicle and have our vehicle approach the prison about approximately an hour before the parade so they can load it up, because it will be very dicey to try to... I mean, once Xavier's on the float, he's on the float. Right?
Right.
Then we wait for Charlotte and company's big distraction, and we get the hell out of there. So, we need to find out where this float is, where it is right now. We need to find out, or at least where the vehicle is right now, the original vehicle. I'm assuming it's probably going to be stored somewhere, right?
Correct. There are I'll just say this out of character. There are a few different stations that maintain. Basically, it's a company that leases such vehicles, but there is one specific company that is contracted by prisons. So you know what company it would be, and you know the closest station to that prison, which is just for economical and efficiency reasons, the highest probability of where it would come from.
Okay. So, guys, if we know where its starting point is, and we know it will be heading to the prison, we can set up an ambush along the most common route, right? What we'll need to do, and I'll volunteer to do this, is that the already modified vehicle has to be close to standby, because we're going to need it to start heading to the prison as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll have the vehicle on standby. The rest of you ambush and neutralize the original vehicle. Push it off to one side, disguise it, hide it, dismantle it, stick it down some alley, right? Hop on board the fake one. We make our way to the prison, and we do our thing.
Your trucks here are electronic, right? Or at least have electricity in them?
Yes, they are electronic.
Perfect, then I should be able to turn off their engines.
Great. The only problem is that we'll need those exoskeletons before... Because if we're going straight from the ambush to the prison, Lucas and I will already need to be suited up. Or I'll need to be suited up and with Lucas's disguise with me. Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. So, we can take the few hours it will take for our new rebel friends to acquire and modify the disguises, right? And during that time, we can plan out a nice little ambush. You know what I mean? Creating a roadblock, taking out their engines, neutralizing them, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Squee,
Yes.
that's going to be our plan.
Okay. Got it.
Now, unfortunately, I know it's about 5 hours. It's going to take them 3.5 hours to make the exosuits. So once the exosuits are made, we're going to have to really hurry. But hey, it'll be exciting.
Yeah. There are certain things that you can do to make it, easier once the time comes. In other words, he'll of course show you, okay, this is where that place is. Here's the most efficient route to the prison. Here are the off roads. Things of that nature.
Well, could we use our skills during these couple hours? Like, I
Absolutely.
detect ambush and all that good stuff to kind of plan shit
Yeah,
out?
that's exactly what I was gonna get to.
We should also, if well, they've already been using radio waves for communication and stuff. Like, have we
X-rays.
established? No, the rebels, because
the
it's
rebels.
less
Yeah.
commonly.
That's right.
So we established like a safe channel or something like that?
You certainly could. Sure. You could just keep using the channel you've been using to contact each other.
Mm-hmm.
That would work.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm just being paranoid, but I feel like we should take some level of precaution just in case someone is being sneaky or some shit.
Precaution against what?
Like, just in case someone on the bad guy's side has actually been monitoring the radio waves or something.
Okay, I have an electric countermeasure skill. I can utilize that, see if we can't properly encode our radio waves and all that good stuff.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Give me a second before you get into that. I'll finish what I was saying. Is that he could point out basically on the map, hey, here's the most direct route, here's side routes, and then would be volunteer to kind of drive you guys in a closed vehicle, so that you could go to the sites and then you could decide, basically, because I mean, it's hard to set up an ambush without being able to go there and see it, and as like you said, use your skills to try and determine how you want to do this. So,
okay, works for me.
Who would like to go do a reconnaissance or a scouting mission?
Actually, normally I would, but I think Kid brought up a good point. We should make sure we can't just assume because the rebels thought to use radio waves that our opponents won't do the same thing. So I'm going to stay back. I'm going to look at their radio system and use a few skills to boost that, because we will need secure communications to plan the ambush and rescue.
Okay. All right. Then let's go ahead and handle that first real quick. Xavier, if you would please. What skills? I know you mentioned one. What skills
well,
are?
I have radio basic, of course, but that's just how to operate it. I have radio scrambler, which helps with encoding signals. However, they will need some sort of scrambler system. Perhaps if they don't have a scrambler system, I can maybe then use my electronic countermeasure skill to see other systems and see how they can be used to counter any sort of attempted breach into our radio signal.
Okay, yeah. Do that one first, because they do have devices that can help you. Scrambler, not so much. It's not so much a scrambler, but as a high-tech radio that can.
Yeah, radio communication is still very new to them, right? So
exactly. But they do have a radio that can change frequencies very, very quickly, which could act like a scrambler. But I'd like you to make the check to see how well you can utilize their tech.
This is a pretty new skill, so I only have 45%. I succeed by 25.
Yeah, you did. All right. That is Incredibly good. So, after they describe it to you and they say, "Hey, this is how you do this, you do that," you realize, "Oh, Xavier, this is a lot like some of the radios you used to use back in the old days when you first started smuggling, and you were didn't have a penny to your name and were
We're using
using
really
cheap
old
pawned
tech.
off
Yeah.
scramblers." Yeah, exactly. This isn't that far from it, so you don't have any
Mhm.
trouble at all repurposing it to make it into a decent scrambler of radio waves.
Great, wonderful.
Now, then, if you could roll,
Radio
oh,
Scrambler.
gosh. Yes. Sorry, my brain is
Whatever.
running
It's
100
all
miles
good.
a minute.
It's a 90%. Failed by 7.
All right. You're fairly confident that you scrambled it decently well.
Sure.
It's not the best job you've ever done, but it should work in a pinch, at least as far as you're aware.
Well, another alternative to this is that I won't be actively scrambling the radio waves during this operation. I'm going to be too busy driving it. So I could have instructed maybe one of the other cyber rebels on, what to do and everything like that. And maybe that fail or success determines on how well my instruction to that person was.
Sure, that would work too.
Yeah.
So and you give him the gist of it is that basically whenever we're doing communications, you need to at different intervals change it to this frequency, to that frequency, to this
Mhm.
frequency, and balance it.
Yeah.
They luckily, at least they are decent with communication, so they catch on pretty quickly. Though you do notice that in your couple of practice scenarios, they got it right most of the time.
Okay. Yeah, they're still amateurs on it. All right. Well,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to do a lot of training in regards to that. So we got what we have. Would I have enough time to do maybe a few other things here at their main information hub to help kind of help with their security?
Sure. What do you
Well,
have
it
in mind?
depends on what it is, I guess, right?
Right.
I was thinking first of doing a read sensory equipment check out their sensor systems, their interception systems, all that good stuff. See if they're working well, and see. I just want to really do a read sensory equipment to see if I can't see any flaws in their sensory equipment, or see if I can't see some sort of blip or anomaly that might be concerning.
Sure.
Yeah.
Real quick before you do that, is anyone else helping Xavier? Is he doing this on his own?
Well, I'm assuming I'm doing this while they're doing whoever is doing the scouting is doing the scouting part, right?
Right. Which is
And
why
yeah.
I'm asking, is anyone staying behind to help
Ah.
Xavier with this, or is it just Xavier?
I wanted to go on the scouting, so.
Got it.
Yeah,
So kid scouting, Anna scouting.
I want to just make sure that a person who's really good at either ambushing or surveillance, or preferably both, would be on the scouting mission.
So when you say surveillance, do you mean surveillance systems?
Because
I
kids
guess.
got ambushes covered.
Yeah, I got ambush as well, and I have surveillance. The three I was thinking of was surveillance system, streetwise, and detect ambush.
Oh Jesus, yeah, Anna's completely she's built for this shit.
Yeah.
It makes sense considering her background too.
I will tell you this: Lucas has pretty close to zero electronic skills. He knows how to work a radio, and that's about it.
I don't have radio basic or anything like that, but I do have electronics and engineering. If that would help at all.
I would say also this, Isaac, because this is a rare situation where your background, this is kind of in your wheelhouse.
It is.
Isaac was a sheriff for many, many years, and while I'm pretty sure you didn't make a habit of parading bad guys down the streets, the whole concept of holding a prisoner, maintaining a prisoner, transporting a prisoner, and how that goes about, that would be something that Isaac would have been skilled in and know to deal with, i.e., what are the dangerous parts? What's the best way to do this and that? So,
well, I also do have an intelligence skill, which is for espionage type intelligence. So I could analyze the data.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, is that if you wanted to go with him, if you wanted to help out, you certainly would. Isaac would have expertise to lend. Certainly.
Sure, I'll go.
All right.
So I'm on my own here at the headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
For the
groovy.
moment. So do
so
me a read sensory equipment check. Yes, please.
Okie dokie. That one's not bad. 75%. Let me roll them bones. Yeah, succeed by 15.
Okay. I was wondering if this was going to happen. So,
Oh, hey, look at me. All right. Sorry.
You're going over their read sensory. I mean, you're going over their equipment, just kind of looking for flaws or strengths, and generally also familiarizing yourself with their technology.
Mm-hmm.
It's all pretty. It's incredibly efficient. Even though this technology was made by a different society than you, it is very clear to you that they prize efficiency, and that is incredibly helpful to you. Everything is logical and makes sense. And you're going over their transmitters and all that, and you pick something up that they didn't, and maybe it's because you're so much more familiar with how radio waves work than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Their systems are picking up a tiny bit of static. Could almost be background static, but you know it's not because it's coming in intervals. 5 seconds every time. A little static. A little static.
Someone else is using the same radio frequency, aren't they?
It is something that is being transmitted. So yes, something's being transmitted across radio waves. It's very weak.
Can I figure out the origin point?
Give me basic radio operations.
Okay, that's a 98%, baby. Let's see how much I succeed and or fail at. Ah, there you go. Succeed by 30.
Yes and no. You can't trace it from here,
Mhm.
but you could follow it. And if you followed it, you would eventually find its source. And another thing you notice, this seems to be whatever's transmitting this has a signature on it that's familiar. It's your tech. It's tech from your neck of the woods. It's the same kind of tech that, well, it's a little odd because normally this doesn't transmit like this, but the only thing that you can think of that has this kind of tech is like small entertainment projectors. You know, those projectors that are used to project images and stuff onto walls?
Yeah. I have a holo computer too on my wrist, so
Right.
To that too.
So there's some of the higher end models had these kind of signatures on them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I want to. Well, it depends on. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I can hear you.
Okay, all right. It depends on where it leads me. I don't want to go completely out in the middle of the city by myself with no protection, but you're goddamn right. I want to follow that radio signal.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna right now. You're gonna hold off on that for now, or you are going out right now?
Well, tell you what, I'm gonna follow the radio signal until it leads me outside this rebel headquarters. If it leads me outside the rebel headquarters, I'm gonna have to wait.
Yes, it most certainly leads you outside the rebel headquarters.
I can't go there without some sort of disguise, and we're trying to help Cyber 6, so I'm gonna earmark it. I'm gonna just mentally and technologically earmark it so I can find that static signal again and again. And once we have a little bit more time, this if it's similar to our own, Xavier's thinking that this might link to Heart or Cyber 6, more than likely Heart or someone else who's using our technology, right? But I can't do it right now. So the very last thing I want to do to help secure these folks is use my camouflage skill, because are they their headquarters, is it being masqueraded as something else? Or is it like just a low nondescript building in this sea of high-tech buildings?
You mean the rebels?
Yeah, the rebels. Yeah, their
Oh,
headquarters. Yeah, we're
they're-
like I'm assuming there isn't a big fluorescent sign that says Rebel HQ flying outside. So what's the building like?
the building, actually, you're underground. It's like a
Okay.
abandoned subway. They've repurposed subway tunnels.
Okay. So, that's cool. All right, that's awesome. I would like to do last thing I want to do is just take a quick look around the entrances and exits to these subway tunnels and possibly use a camouflage skill to either do one of two things or maybe both.
Mhm.
It reinforced the concealment of the access points, or two, create some sort of environmental deterrence, not traps or anything like that, but things that maybe cybers would find uninteresting or disgusting, which would deter them going down certain subway platforms, and make it much less likely for this headquarters to be discovered by chance or by actively looking.
Sure. Go
Okay.
ahead and roll me the camouflage skill.
Now, that's not the strongest either. It's only 40%, but see what we got. Failed by 8.
All right. That's not horrible. That's only by 8 points. So you definitely find you kind of explore the perimeter, and what you see is that they've kind of repurposed. You don't find another way of describing it. It's just more like an old subway hub, and in this hub leads out to several different abandoned tunnels. And you do find that, some more could be done to conceal the tunnels. Like, for example, if you could find a way to move heavy objects in front of the doors, it's not going to hide the door, but anyone who's just passing by curiously isn't going to go through the effort it would take to get to that door, especially when it already looks so old and beat up. So you could certainly impart that information on it. There's nothing that you find that you physically could do, but you are able to at least see, this could probably be done a little bit better, or this way might help you a little bit, and you could at least impart that onto them.
Okay. Great. All right, that's I think that will very easily eat up the time I have at the HQ. So I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to move to the other party. So you guys are being transported by 4X1013, the gentleman who used to work at this place, not this particular location, but for this company. And he's driving you in it actually looks strangely like a really sleek sports vehicle. Like, this thing would be pretty cool to have on Zebron. You'd get a lot of looks. Though you see here, it seems pretty normal. The good news is that it's a closed top. Some of these aren't closed top, some of them are open, but this one's a closed top with tinted windows, so that you can pretty much, as long as you don't go outside, no one's really going to be seeing you. And he drives you to it takes about 20-25 minutes, and you notice these things are driving pretty quickly. They drive at around 200 miles an hour once they get on the road and get going. It drives you to the location, and basically what he does, he starts at kind of driving past the headquarters of the company. Give me a second. Actually, I don't want to just keep saying the company. So it is called Stets Company, Stets. And as you drive by it, you see that it has a plethora of different types of vehicles, ranging from small to large. And he'll even point out a large greenish type vehicle that looks remarkably kind of like it looks a lot like, to you guys as players, it looks a lot like an APC, an armored personnel carrier. Has about 6 wheels, 3 on each side. It's very wide. It looks like it could fit maybe 10 people uncomfortably, but the thing at the top is flattened so that people can walk on top, and there is a little dais about 2/3 of the way up the vehicle where it looks like some sort of platform where you could put a person or a advertisement or something of that nature. And then he will kind of also guide you down. What he knows is like, okay, now this is the most direct path. It's you get on this big street, and the street takes you mostly there, and then and he'll drive up to where you can see the actual prison complex. And much like it was described to you, for about 300 feet, there's about 300 feet from where the buildings kind of end, and it just looks like this large flat asphalt structure. And then the facility about 300 feet in the middle. And then he also points out that, well, actually, at this point in time, everyone who has a detect ambush skill, please roll that for me. Or, conversely, if there's something else that you guys have in mind that you would like to try and do, let me know as well. Because that's what you're here for.
So this is just like in the planning process?
Correct. This is walking through the steps of what they would most likely do and figuring out how you're going to alter that and how best to do it.
Okay, so I have streetwise, tracking, and intelligence. Would any of those work?
Yes. I would say for Isaac specifically, do intelligence.
Okay.
Kid, what were you rolling?
Oh no!
Oh boy.
I'm gonna get
I
up
don't
and walk
know if it
around.
matters now.
Oh man.
So Isaac leans a little bit too far against the window, and someone sees him and is like, "Holy shit! I want to help you."
No.
Organic things, right?
No. See, 100 does help you, though it may take a very long time to realize how it helps you.
Oh, God. Okay.
Perhaps a broken projector that Anna broke that Hart took with her to repair.
Oh damn! Okay, I won't be salty about that anymore.
I just gotta think about this for a moment. Okay, I know what's gonna happen. You still there, Bern? I think you had to step up and get up for a minute.
I'm just. Are we just gonna put a pause on this for a bit, or should I
Well,
No,
you go
I
ahead.
just-
And roll. Yeah, we can go.
I had to pet my cat after that. I'm sorry.
I understand. So, so here's what happens. You guys are in a very deserted area. Like, this is not an area of the city people go to on a regular basis, right?
Mhm.
And you guys stop by one of the access panels. And he gets out and he raises up the access panels and he ushers you guys in so that you can get down into the tunnels. So he can show you, this is what the tunnels look like. Here's what the access panels look like. And you guys are down in the tunnels. And Isaac, you're thinking about things and you're trying to figure out, well, what would you do in their position? Kind of reverse the roles, right? And as you're doing it, you're just kind of looking around and you touch something. Either you accidentally bump into it or maybe you just absentmindedly flick it, but you do something and the power just and everything goes dark. And you just hear you hear 4x1013 after a few seconds. What was that? Did someone touch something?
Yeah, I kind of tripped and I kind of touched the wall. Right here.
We should go. We should go now. We should definitely go. Someone's gonna come investigate this.
Okay,
So the
let's
power's
go.
out, I'm guessing.
Yep. And power is not just out. Anna, if you use your senses, there's a fuse blown. There's a fuse blown. Uh-huh.
What did you do?
I broke it.
No shit.
No, I mean, we should be leaving, right now.
Yes, we're leaving. We're not standing around while we're talking. We're going. Are you kidding me? We're having this conversation, but as soon as he says something, we're going, man.
I mean, I'm sitting here, but my character isn't.
Yes, exactly.
Anna wants to quickly look where surveillance cameras are still were, though.
There aren't any surveillance cameras in this area. Like, it's not
Or
this
just
society.
surveillance in general?
Okay, go ahead and roll me the surveillance check.
Nope. Failed
No.
by 15 anyways.
Nah, nothing that you can see.
Isaac did electricity things and Anna got distracted.
So you guys get back in the car, and he starts driving back fairly quickly. And as you're driving back, like there's this awkward silence because you guys didn't get to do as much recon as you wanted, obviously. But after a few minutes, he goes, "Well, I mean, on the bright side, they can't take that road now. They'll have to go down this one little sub road here. So
Can we go down that road real quick?
that's not a bad idea. This whole area is going to have some attention to it. They're going to try and find out what happened.
Even if we don't get out of the car, we can't drive down it?
Well, we'll be asked. I mean, sure, we can try it, but
They'll stop you and ask about a power outage?
look, the general electrician companies take their work very, very seriously here. If someone attempts to sabotage an area right next to a prison, yeah, they'd stop and ask about it.
We need to get some. Wait, is there power lines?
Yeah,
No?
yeah, they're all running under the street. That's where you
Underground.
were.
Oh,
That's
under street. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a train of thought. Nope, that train of thought doesn't work. Never mind.
He was like, I mean, if you were just in the middle of a city or some residential area, maybe not, but we're 300 feet away from a prison. Anything like that happens that's not supposed to happen, and people start wondering.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
Good job.
in layman terms, or out of character terms, on the bright side, you know the street they have to take. On the downside, you didn't get to do as much recon as you would have liked.
Yep.
However, that said, Anna, you still haven't rolled. Please roll the detect ambush skill for me.
Can I also roll a streetwise or no?
Streetwise isn't really going to help you here. Streetwise is more about knowing who to talk to and how to find, but this is really out of your element here.
Okay, that's fair. That succeeds by 3.
By 3, okay.
Yeah, I failed by 3.
Okay. So you saw, so the road they have to take, the smaller road, it wasn't a bad road to lead them down. You've already kind of created the distraction to get them there, and you know that that there is access tunnels that go to that area. So if you could believably create, like, basically you know enough to say, okay, if we could create a reason for them to stop right here, this would be right above an access panel. So you have the information you need to complete the plan before you had to go. So the plan is still doable, still workable. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Lucas goes, how much traffic? Well, I guess since a road is closed, it might get more, but how much traffic usually does this area have?
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Well, not very much, especially during this time of day. This is it's basically a... Hang on, give me a second, because they wouldn't call it law enforcement. He would say it's land owned by the Cyber Conclave government, so the only traffic is the employees that work here and a few construction or contract companies. And you noticed too, when you were driving down the roads, hardly ever saw another car once you got into this area. Once you got to the area where that company was and the prison was, there was not very much traffic at all. You'd see maybe 1 or 2 cars on the street every minute or so.
So the detour is not necessarily going to get backed up with regular traffic.
No, the detour, unlikely at all. The main street, a little bit, but even that won't cause much of a traffic jam.
Okay, so that gets rid of one of my worries.
Yeah, but no, the detour is like a, for lack of a better term, it's like a residential street. It's very rare that you get traffic on a residential street.
Well, when the main road's closed, no. I won't fight this.
All right, yeah, fine. Traffic jams everywhere. No. All right. Anything else you guys would like to do?
Just going through.
I'm not gonna roll again.
I was hoping I
That
rolled
was
a 1 after that would be
amazing.
great.
Well, I will say, if you're gonna fail, you failed spectacularly. It had
It's
some
true.
benefit to it. Yeah.
I guess
All
there's
right.
no way to argue for escape artists in this for like escape routes.
No, escape
No,
artist
don't
is
think so.
escaping bonds, and yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, then I'm. Yeah.
What about detect concealment?
To detect what exactly?
Exactly.
Yes.
Places to
Something that's
conceal things.
concealed.
You found
Exactly.
that
You found a kid's drug
you found
stash.
that 4X1013 had concealed several strange mechanical devices in the seat cushion. Okay. Yeah, no, that's
Good
not
Kid
choice.
really
like
good.
pulls them out and just starts messing with them, like looking them over. Oh no, put those back.
Hey, those where those were. Oh, I've been looking all over for them. He kind of pulls them over and like puts them in like a dashboard compartment.
I would like about it. Just chucks another window, keeps going. No, anyway. Okay.
So you're able to determine that you know what road it's going to take. You have a general idea of when it's going to take it. You just need to come up with a way to get it to stop where you want it to. And it looks like that'll have to be done kind of when you get on site.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, you guys get back to the headquarters and you reunite back up with Xavier.
Yay.
And I assume you guys share the information you've gained.
There's a power outage and it's not my fault.
That's
Kid
all that you
points
learned.
at Isaac.
Nope, it's just a rare occurrence. And then actually tell what's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let them know about the radio signal, the radio anomaly, I guess I should say, that I found that I think I could trace. It leads far outside the our current location, so
All right.
we only
well,
have probably like a few hours left, right?
Yeah, at this point you have about 2 hours left and about an hour before they finish the disguises for you.
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Okay.
You show it to Anna. Anna, you
Roll?
yes, please. Roll read sensory equipment for me.
Yes.
Roll not to meta.
8.
You fail or succeed by 8.
Seed.
Okay.
You seed.
Yeah, this has a similar signature to that projector that you blew up.
Shit.
And that Hart took with her to repair, yeah.
Okay, Isaac's gonna start freaking out and ask if it's okay to send a message back.
You'll know that's not. This is something that is
more of a location
transmitting a signal every 5 seconds. It's not a radio conversation, if that makes sense. It's like a beacon.
It's like interference on the radio wave.
Right.
But,
all right.
Yeah, she won't have ways to tell that we're interfering back, huh?
You don't know that actually. This is like basically it's the equivalent of someone keying a walkie-talkie every 5 seconds, like just doing the.
Yeah, but with the walkie-talkie, there's a way to get something back.
Right. So
would this
the
be...
thing is, what I'm saying is, I was using that as that was actually a really bad example.
Yes.
This is a projector, not a communication device.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I just chose the worst example.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The
So
point
we
is that
can
we're
talk to her.
We're picking
No,
up
we can't.
residual signals on this radio wave due to a
Yes.
projector. Where
But you
it's a
do know-
one-way street. We can detect the interference. We have no reason to believe they could detect any sort of signal we'd be sending through the radio wave. Because obviously, if they knew they were interfering with the radio wave, I'm sure Hart would be trying to communicate with us right now on our radio.
But yes, that is a fair assessment. All right. So you guys have about an hour. Is there anything anyone would want to do during that hour?
Permission to freak my shit, but other than that, no.
Permission granted.
Hannah will be keeping Isaac in the rebel space.
Lucas is gonna do something. Is there like how do I put this? The only thing I can think of is like a teacher's lounge, just a lounge area.
Teacher's lounge.
Can we go to
A
the
place
teacher
where
group?
people usually just kind of sit there and hang out and maybe conversate with each other.
Yes.
Like a
A living
lounge.
room, a
exists.
study, a
Yes.
lounge.
There is a communal area. Yes. Few
Alright.
tables, couple of chairs, and like a big TV screen.
Where's the water cooler?
And no water cooler because they're robots. But
Why not
there
cooler?
is. They're robots. But there is a very futuristic game table, which looks like the most similar thing it is to foosball, except you have little knobs on each side that control digital panels that control the movement of an actual ball inside.
I would like to go there and do general light entertainment with a few people and whatnot. My main goal is to actually pick up any sort of oddities within like gestures or movement.
Okay.
I'm basically trying to see natural movement and seeing if there's anything that might stick out if I needed to, let's say, mimic a voice pattern or movement or anything like that. I should keep my eyes on.
Got it. You're trying to observe them to be able to act like them.
Yes.
Got it. Do you have any skills you would prefer to use for this?
I have disguise, I have imitate voice, I have wardrobe and grooming, which is supposed to be more of a societal thing about like how stance and things work, basically like how to hold yourself and whatnot.
I would say probably the most beneficial ones would, of course, be imitate voice. And believe it or not, one of your performance skills, under the idea of you're not performing for them so much as anyone who studied the arts of performance knows how to adapt their movements to fit the performance. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Basically, it's disguising or pretending to be someone else is in a way a performance. So
Yes.
if you would please roll your skill for imitate voice and roll. Honestly, you have singing, you have flute playing, right?
I have singing and flute playing. I also have guitar and dance.
Dance. Roll me dance.
All right. So I will do voice first. 60 by 28.
All right, and the dance, make it harder by 15.
Okay. 15. 5, 3. 60 by 42.
Okay. So you notice, first and foremost, you notice that most of their talking is very anti-rhythmic in the sense that it's very smooth, very easy to listen to, but they have pauses where they don't normally have pauses when you speak. Almost as if they are either that's just the way they talk, or it reminds you of someone who's very considerate about what they say and they're constantly thinking about it. Make sense?
Yes.
And then as far as their movements, you notice something too, now that you're studying them closely. They have a certain jerky robotic movement to them, almost as if someone was subtly trying to do the robot, in the sense where they don't smoothly move their arm moves in short little bursts. It's a little you kind of have to concentrate on it to notice it, and you'll notice too that Cyber 6 for whatever reason didn't have this. He moved fluidly like you do, like what you're used to. But these cybers, when you notice them, it's subtle, but it is there. The way they move is very much like it's not a fluid motion; it's a start and stop.
Hmm.
So you're able to pick those up and imitate them fairly well.
Neat. And I'd probably play during this. I'd probably talk to a few, and of course, play a game or two just to make sure that they're comfortable and not having me just lurk in the background looking at them.
No, they seem. Are you kidding me? They are more than happy to engage with you. You are all the talk of the club. Not only are you organics, people they haven't seen in eons, not eons, whatever. 500 years is half an eon, right? Yeah, in half an eon. But you may have just cured their people, so that's cool. So no, they're more than happy to talk with you about anything you'd like and ask you tons of questions about what they like.
I would probably I can shelve all of that, to be honest, but general positive things and
sure
stuff like that.
Okay, sure. So you have a nice time for about an hour. You find out that for the most part, they, despite all their differences, there are a lot of similarities, almost like what Isaac said at the beginning. They, at their core, do seem to be kind of similar in the sense that they have the same kind of priorities: family, job, relationships. They do have some core logical disconnects that are difficult to fathom. Like in your hour of talking with them in general, you realize that there's a huge disconnect between their bodies and how you view yours. Like, for example, we view our bodies as a permanent fixture. If we lost an arm, that is a huge life-altering event. For them, it's like losing your driver's license. It's really inconvenient and it's going to cost some money, but meh, no biggie. So like there's some really serious logical disconnects, but the core principles of how they think can be similar in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone else during that hour?
I am good.
Okay. So, about an hour before the parade's supposed to start, about like an hour and 15 minutes, honestly, the engineers from the Resistance call Xavier and Lucas, and of course anyone else who wants to come down to their little workshop, which is, in all intents and purposes, a workshop. It has a lot of machinery. It looks very scrapped together, but they have taken two suits of hang on, let me show you here. Oh, whoops. Probably help if I don't have a search bar up. Sorry, I was desperately trying to find a float of some kind. They have taken medium-sized armor. Hang on, I gotta find out where you guys are. Go over there so I can show you. Two sets of armor that are somewhere in between their base frame and the very large frames you saw more of their guard-like entities use. It looks pretty convincing. They've hollowed out the insides. They've taken off the connectors because they'll explain to you that, of course, their exoskeleton actually attaches to their body for stability. They've removed those and replaced it with an adhesive material, and they've prepared basically a onesie for both Xavier and Lucas to wear, and this onesie is going to be covered in a sticky, semi-solid substance that they are going to then use to attach the plates onto, so that it gives the appearance that the plates are fixed into position. Make sense?
Yes.
Good. They've done a pretty convincing job, and they found armor that fits mostly. It is not comfortable. It is very uncomfortable, but you have full range of motion in it. The hardest, most difficult part is that the helmets that they have for you, which are literally hollowed out cyber heads, They had to get the lights working in it again because there's no cyber that doesn't have lights in its eyes. It makes it slightly harder for you guys to see because it looks like you're seeing through very bright tinted lenses.
Okay.
So one of you, and you can choose, one of you has purple tinted lenses and the other one has green tinted lenses.
I think Xavier likes the greens.
Sure, yeah, I'll take the green.
Okay. And mechanically speaking, it's not going to do a whole lot to hinder you. It would be like a -1 penalty for things like aim shots or things of that nature. It's not horrible. The biggest thing is you both know that if you wear this for an hour or two, you're going to get a headache. It's avoidable, but it's likely. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep, that's fine. Makes
Alright.
sense.
But other than that, it is uncomfortable, but it works. And you wouldn't pass vigorous inspection, but a casual glance, even more than a casual glance, you might be able to pass that.
Cool.
So they fit you guys on with it, and it takes about 15 minutes or so to get you outfitted. And kind of they have you do some stretches, some calisthenics to make sure everything and like have you jump up and down because they want to make sure that the plates don't fall off when you move. This does count as MDC armor. It's not environmentally sealed, but it gives you an MDC armor rating of actually hang on, let me see here. I actually have this. It gives you an MDC rating of 130 because some parts have had to been shaved off to fit you.
Okay.
But the plates themselves are very durable.
Oh shit, Squee, how am I supposed to imitate talk now? Okay. Can I wear my super light armor underneath? Probably not. But here's the thing. If I am questioned at all, I will need to speak. Speaking makes me have a high-pitched voice, which no other cyber has.
Mm-hmm.
That means I would, if I want to do that, would need to clear out the high-pitched sound gas stuff, which means I would have to have air, and there's almost, like, I have air, but that's only in my suits. I don't have,
I totally get what you're saying. They kind of look at each other and they shrug and they say, well, it's not environmentally sealed, so no, certainly you're not going to be able to wear other kinds of body armor underneath this. This is attached to a onesie. But they said, well, there are times where our voice boxes get damaged and any number of vocal effects could happen to it. That might work if you tell them that. Failing that, I suppose try to talk as little as possible. They just kind of shrugged. Sorry, there's no way to environmentally seal this. Not in the time that we have.
Got it.
All right. So with that, Xavier and Lucas are in fairly convincing disguises. For you guys, Anna, Kid, Isaac, and all that, they're actually pretty convincing. Though, to be fair, you haven't been staring at cybers your whole life, but yeah, if you didn't know any better, you might be able to mistake them for one, certainly. So
Lucas has an idea.
Mm-hmm.
What?
He's gonna try to see if this works, and I'm not quite sure if Squee would even know this, but he would probably try to fill up one of his balloon animal balloons with air and suck it down to see if he can restore his voice.
It would work for as long as you had the air in your lungs. So you could say probably 2 or 3 sentences before you'd have to suck on that balloon.
Like real
It's like-
helium.
It's like
Neat.
helium, but in
But in
reverse.
reverse. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Reverse helium, I like that.
But yes, it would work perfectly.
He's gonna do a few of those balloons.
That's delightful.
Oh,
That
man.
delights me to no end.
Our heroes, everyone.
Oh,
Are
I would
everyone
also
heroes.
I would also I forgot about this. This would have happened during the hour when you were preparing. Indigo and Wansuk and 3x 2x103 would have returned, and they would have basically laid out the general plans for once the parade starts, which of course actually this depends a lot on what you guys are planning. You plan, if I understand correctly, to replace the float with your own that has been modified for you guys to hide within it and quickly access the top. So give me a second. I'm gonna move you guys over to a place so that you can see
To a
more of it.
place.
To a place.
There's a place for us
Hang on a second now.
somewhere. A place for us.
Oh, it'd probably help if I move all this to the map layer so that I'm not moving everything around.
For some reason, the song that popped into my head was Fernando.
I just met a man,
Alejandro.
Fernando. That makes no sense.
All right. Let me move you guys over to here.
Over.
Over here. So this is what the vehicle looks like. If you zoom in a bit, never mind the writings on the side or the fact that it looks like an APC. I am
This is
cheering
a
with it.
perfectly normal APC, everyone.
This is a cyber float. It always was. This is the dais. This is the front of the vehicle.
Subtle.
And where the driver goes. This is the dais here. And all of this is flat, walkable surface. This area here and this area here has been modified so that people could quickly open it and access the roof. Make sense?
Yes.
And the inside, all back here, is where you guys hide.
Neat.
Woo!
So, if I understand, and by all means, correct me if I am not getting this correctly. You plan to waylay the other float. Then, after that float has been waylaid and taken care of, you will immediately hop in your float, drive it to the prison, have them load up Cyber 6 and the guard, drive to the parade. Then once you get to the parade and you're in the middle of the parade, there will be a big attack distraction and you drive off.
Yes.
Bingo. Heads up, that's exactly it. That's exactly the plan. Xavier plans on just being in our vehicle while the ambush is being struck, so he can, pick everyone up and get going right away. So, if possible, is it possible to remove the helmet section of my armor while I'm waiting inside my vehicle so that green tint isn't fucking with my vision? Okay, perfect.
Yes. The way they have attached it is because obviously the helmet needs to be firmly attached. But what they've done, the onesie that you and Lucas have is more like a diving suit. Like it goes around your head too. And that onesie it has the sticky substance. So in order to remove the helmet, you have to kind of like but it will come off and go back on.
All right. Yeah, great. So what I would like to do is while I'm driving the vehicle towards the general area of our ambush spot, I want to have the helmet on. Then I want to just find a location down an alley or a side street in which I can park the vehicle. I want to remove my helmet, and I want to at least get on the radio with everyone else, and I can be an extra set of eyes in case something's coming down the road towards them and they're really busy, attacking or something like that. I just kind of want to be their eyes and ears from our vehicle, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's my goal. That's what I want to do.
Okay. Makes sense and should work pretty well.
Groovy.
All right. So you guys hop into your modified float. Xavier, you've been given brief instruction on how to drive it. It's not too hard, much like with everything else. Roll me a driving check for a normal vehicle. One with
like
wheels.
So a pilot truck, for
Yes,
example.
pilot truck is the closest you're going to find.
All right,
Absolutely.
80%. Yeah, I succeed by 76.
Yeah, Xavier, there's something about their
77.
technology. There's something about their technology. It's designed to be incredibly efficient and logical, and that matches well with your way of thinking. But whatever
Or
it
I'm
is,
just good.
yeah, or it could just be that you're good. You pick up their tech pretty darn easily. Not
Great.
first the radio system, now this.
Yeah.
You don't think you'll have any quote unquote no penalties to driving.
Good. Even with my helmet on?
Nope. Your helmet's going to give you a penalty, but that's
After an
different.
hour.
No, it's going to be a -10 penalty at all times. The headache's not something that's gonna. The headache itself isn't something that would prevent you or make it harder because everyone, you can fight through a headache to do stuff. No, the bright lights. Imagine wearing a pair of glasses where the rims glowed brightly. That just
all right.
obstructs your field of view.
That's fine. All right.
So when the helmet's on, it's actually a -10 to driving checks, but you take it off and you're fine.
All right. So no other penalties, I guess. Then when you say no
Correct.
penalties, okay.
Correct. No penalties due to it being an unknown technology.
Gotcha.
All right. So the rest of you pile in. Lucas, you're sitting next to Xavier in the front, right?
Yep.
And then everyone else is kind of just hiding back here. It's pretty cramped, and you're right. So you're hiding back here, and
so
then
just tell me where you want me to drop you guys off, and then I'll find a side street.
So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to run to the restroom really quick, and then we'll kick this off.
Okay.
All right.
This is much better than the prison break.
Yeah.
It's a very good idea, Piff. And Deloria, was a good idea about, worrying about their countermeasures, because if you didn't say that, then I wouldn't find the signal that I am 99% sure that's Hart.
Yeah.
Operating that projector thing.
I'm pretty sure we're all sure about that. But yeah, honestly, like I at first I was like, oh no, that's not really a thing that we should worry about.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh, that's something that could easily be exploited because no one would think about it.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake players can make, and I make it from time to time too, is forgetting that your opponent is an intelligent being as well, and they're going to be doing shit against you just as much as you're trying to do shit against them.
Yeah.
So, you gotta be careful. Right? I think it's the biggest problem where, like, players are just like, oh, they're just orcs and they're in a cave. Let's just go in there and slash them. You know what I mean? And then maybe it works.
Then one gets a freaking, like, bear-trapped leg.
Exactly. That's how you get a fucking bear-trapped leg. Because maybe orcs are, like, tired of goddamn adventurers going into their cave and slashing the shit out of them.
Damn it, this is my house!
No, it's my fucking house, asshole.
Someone rang the door trap.
What are they talking about in chat?
I have no idea.
Like realistic combat systems? Kind of looks like that.
I don't know. They've been going on for a while.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
I tuned out like a bit ago.
Well, we're busy playing a game, so we can't read every single message. I understand that, but this is from what I'm glancing at, it looks interesting.
Hello.
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 All right.
Cat, what do you want?
I was gonna, GM your game, but I guess
Give us Cyber
if you
6
guys got it
already.
handled,
Jeez.
if you got it handled, I guess.
Okay, bye.
Guys, we win.
Yay!
Yay!
All right, kids GMing. So we get Cyber 6 back. And we
killed
have
I
them
like
all.
you as a
millions of
GM. It's so much
credits.
easier.
Mm-hmm.
And a million credits. And Cyber 4 was right there, and Kid killed him.
Exactly.
All right. I need to know what you ladies and gents are taking with you in said float. As in, what equipment are you bringing with you for this?
Well, I already have my armor, aka my disguise, so I'm just taking my little bandito pistol. And my holo computer. No, I bet you my holo computer wouldn't fit underneath the armor, so I think it'll have to stay at the HQ.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Just a pistol to defend myself and my armor, because I'm going to be mostly driving, so...
The one thing that I could think of that would actually fit would be your force field if you have that, because that's just
Yeah,
a small
of
little-
course. The force field was integrated into the armor, so I'm just assuming it's now integrated into the disguise.
Wait,
It was put on my armor, right?
Was it installed? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind. Then if it's installed on your armor, you
See,
would have
the problem
to
is
uninstall it
that
and-
I'm sneaky. I have two
Yeah.
force fields. I have a personal force field I can just wear on any outfit, and then I have a force field integrated into my body armor.
Right. The one integrated into your body armor wouldn't be usable. The one that you could wear on your person could be fit under that armor. Because one's like installed into the armor, so that would have to be
so did they take out my force field when they put on the disguise?
No. You're not wearing your armor. You're wearing the hollowed out exoskeleton.
Oh,
which
it's
is
just a
acting
hollowed
as
out
armor.
exoskeleton. Okay.
Mhm.
I thought
Which
they put
is-
it on top of my armor for some reason. Okay,
No.
okay, I'll put the wearable. I'll have the wearable force field then. Definitely.
Alright.
Oh, without a doubt.
All right.
Why would you not want a force field, right?
Right. Makes sense. So you have the 130 MDC that the armor grants you, and then your force field, and then your bandito pistol. Got it.
Yes.
What
That's
about
me.
other people? What's everyone else bringing?
We have room to wear our
Body armor.
body armor. Thank you.
Yes,
back,
I was gonna say power armor. I don't know,
No.
but body armor, yes, absolutely. You can wear your body armor.
9 times out of 10, if I'm saying power armor, I mean body armor.
Got it. I don't think even any of you, other than
Nobody-
Hart, even own body armor, power armor.
The
Yeah, you know
only
how to
people-
pilot it.
Yeah, the only people that know how to pilot power armor is Hart and Tessa.
Yeah,
Some
I
people
always
figure it
mean body armmer usually, unless we're having a
Got
direct
it.
conversation. Anyway,
Power
Understood,
armor is
but
so
yes.
fucking cool. I don't know
Yeah.
why I didn't have Xavier learn it. Oh well.
Well, you still
Maybe.
can.
Yeah, I know.
But yes, you can wear body armor.
I
Okay.
don't. No, I'm kidding. I'm wearing body armor.
I don't.
I go out in a 2-piece.
Ew.
All right.
I'm gonna wear the custom body armor that we made. I'm also going to bring two the Dragon VLPs, the slim lines for the plasma cartridge pistols for Nerudi Enterprises, and also the hacking gun.
Got it. The dart gun thing.
Yes, the dart gun.
Understood.
Yeah, I have the new rifle and my mace.
This is also the first time since he got them that Isaac is not wearing the spurs.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Clink, clink.
Yes.
No clink,
Usually
clink.
he has them.
All right. All right, got it. And you're taking the system shutdown dart gun. Sorry, I was just pulling up the stats for that.
Yes.
Because it might be useful to have it.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Lucas, what are you taking?
I'm taking.
The squeaky hammer?
I wish. I think it is too bulky to hide in the front seat.
Kid can take it.
Kid, if you want to take it, you're more than welcome to have it in the back.
Kid, do you have a proficiency in... Yeah, I guess you do.
yeah.
Blunt weapons, yeah. Hang on, kid. Let me throw you the stats for the squeaky hammer.
Yay!
It's
I'm probably
an
gonna have more
interesting
fun
stat
with they
line.
do.
It doesn't. Oh, I don't have it marked down for any damage.
It's because it doesn't do damage.
Yeah, it doesn't do damage.
What?
Yeah.
I was wondering. I'm like, I don't remember that doing damage.
It is a toy squeaky hammer that that the back end is a thruster. It allows you to cast Wind Rush. Creates a short, powerful wind gusting at 60 miles per hour, which is capable of knocking people down, knocking riders off their mounts, or blowing small objects 20 feet. Or it can cast Fly for 6 minutes, which is where you basically turn the hammer upside down, stand on it, and the thruster, you fly. You fly on the hammer.
Well, never mind then.
Kid is
Kid-
not distraction.
Kid does not take squeaky hammer.
Kid like picks it up and they're just like, I can do this. Yeah, I'll crush people. And Lucas is like, oh no, you won't. But you can fly. And Kid's like,
Yeah,
no.
you hit it against something as hard as you can. And you just hear this like squeak.
Bad chair.
Instant
Looks like
frown.
No
Instant
damage.
frown.
No nothing. All right. So sorry, Lucas.
I do have a
Oh,
quick question for you, Squee.
Sure.
I know we went over this over the past week or so, but could I actually pair with the special dart gun, or is that off limits?
No,
No,
because
okay,
that's not technically a gun per se. Per se.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fitting it into the gun category because it's the closest thing you would call it, but no, you wouldn't be able to pair with that one.
That's fine.
All right. Lucas, what else are you taking? You got the body armor. What else you taking?
I'm going to be taking my shurikens, and I'm going to be taking shurikens. I'm going to be taking I guess 3 balloons, full of air.
Right. I'd say each balloon would have enough for 3 breaths, and each breath you could get about 3 sentences.
Okay.
So you're looking at about 9 sentences a balloon.
Neat.
Not bad. It's not bad.
Neato.
Yeah.
I'm just
Let's
trying to
see.
think of how many things I could say with helium before my voice returns to normal, and I think 3 sentences was about normal.
Around
Yep.
yeah. Oh yes, that's what the other. I was missing something. The spell batteries.
Aha. Okay. All right. Do you already have them loaded up?
I'm going to triple check that. I'm almost positive they're all loaded up. But yeah. If they're not, I will just PM you the what I
Sure.
have.
Sure. I'm all for that. Okay. Anna, Kid, what are you guys taking?
I told you. I'm taking
Oh.
new body. Yeah, rifle and the mace.
Okay, got it. That's right. You did say rifle and mace. I forgot. Well, then what about you, Kid?
What?
What are you taking? Body armor, weapon?
Oh, sorry. Everyone keeps cutting in, cutting in and out for me. So I'm trying to pay attention, but every now and then I'm like, oh, they're talking to me. No, they're not talking to me. So for crap I am taking with me, that would be the shiny new heavy body armor that we went for whatever. The what is it? The not the skeleton, but the
super heavy duty printed one. That
Right.
has
No,
an
I know what you're
exoskeleton.
talking about. Yeah, the minus the exoskeleton that Kid
but
didn't
yeah.
need because why? Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes. And I don't know. Should they bring the turret? Like, that seems a little Because they're
We
going.
want
into
this
a
to be
cabin.
low key. We want them to not know we took out the vehicle.
Taking the
Firing a
turret.
turret in every which way might alert them, but that's just me.
I will also make sure everyone keeps in mind that unless you are planning to change, this will be the equipment you also have to use when you are trying to escape with Cyber 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I guess you... Yeah, never mind. It's your character. Take whatever you want.
Kid will keep the turret in the back just in case.
Okay. I'd say there's room for it, like, inside the float in the back.
Mm-hmm. Aside from that, they will bring they will bring their boomstick and a thirst for robot blood, I guess. Or
Wow,
oil,
nice.
whatever the hell.
Does that have, like, ammunition? Do you have to reload that, or is it
Oh no, it's an
unending
endless
font?
supply.
Got it. All right. Okay, that's what you guys are taking. Also, Charlotte and 2x103 would say that they are set up basically to give you the distraction during the parade. The idea is simply this: your float will be at the front. Makes sense. You will have security behind you. Most likely, you will not have much in front of you. The idea is that they are going to launch 2 long range missiles to hit the vehicles directly behind you, which means that it's going to be very close, but it's not going to be hitting you. And the idea being that hopefully you can use that as a chance to get away while they are dealing with the fact that 2 rockets just hit them. And might, if everything goes the way they hope, might actually create a barrier between you and the rest of the entourage.
Cool.
And since it's long range missiles, they can fire that thing from about 30 miles away.
Neat.
All right, so that said, you all pile into the float. I keep wanting to call it an APC because, well, I mean,
Looks like an APC.
yeah. you pile into the float, and you drive to the... Lucas, you can definitely kind of give him the coordinates back to where you're going to drive. Now, here's the dealy deal.
Mm-hmm.
Say this road, this section of the map, is the diversion road where you want this thing to go down, and that there is a access hatch, we'll say right here.
Okay.
And it is going to be coming this direction.
Now, when cars drive, do they stay in their lane, or do they just like not give a fuck and just kind of...
Oh no, I understand that's very much how it looks like. These aren't lanes; these are guiding lights.
So this is like a
They
one-way.
act like lanes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's more like these lights here are more to... yes, they're not lanes, but more to cars and vehicles straddle them to because what'll happen is kind of neat. If you are going certain roads or certain paths, there'll be different colored lines, and you just follow your colored line to get where you need to go.
Okay.
Sorry, I did not explain any of that. I should have. So on bigger streets, you see red lines and green lines and blue lines all mixed together, but on smaller roads, you'll see just the 1 or 2 lines.
Okay.
Right. So, Xavier, I know you're going to drop them off somewhere, and then you're going to be a bit away where you can still see what's going on.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yep. Exactly.
Lucas, are you
Parked
staying with...
as inconspicuously as possible, obviously.
Understood. Lucas, are you going to be staying with Xavier, or are you going to be... Well, actually, let me just do it this way.
He doesn't have to.
What's the general plan here? You want to make this thing stop at a certain place. How are you going to do that? And where are you going to be when it happens?
I don't know. Where do you guys want me to drop you off?
I guess we should probably discuss how do you guys want to have the vehicle to stop. we can have. Well, actually,
Anna kill the engine.
That's right. You're doing that. Anna, can you do that underground, or is that something you need to?
I think, well, technically, I destroyed the projector while being in a different room. I'm just looking at the distance now. Manipulate, I can be, as long as it's within 190 feet.
Mm-hmm. And when you were doing the heist, you were shutting off lights in other rooms. So
Mm-hmm.
as long as it is not a military grade vehicle with protection on it, you can do it. Lucky for you, these floats, while they are armored, are not military vehicles.
Cool.
Because there are some things out there, for example, a tank that an army may not want someone of your nature to just shut off, so they have protection. These ones, as far as you know, and you know quite a lot because hint hint, you're riding in one, you should be able to shut off.
Cool.
So shut off. So the approach should be quickly grabbing the driver, or do you want to? Is there like another method you guys want?
Well, the main reason why we wanted to use the manhole was so that someone could be like up front and blocking the way to distract the drivers, and then the people in the manhole, or quote unquote manhole, can pop up and ambush them.
Yeah, because I'm turning off the engine. I'm not destroying it yet.
Yeah.
Right. So so is this a twofer where it's like we put some sort of barrier up, they stop, we kill the engine so they can't get away, and then ambush?
Sounds about right.
Works for me. I mean, you guys, it's your asses on the line. I guess I should say, but it seems like a solid plan. I mean, we can't micromanage this to death, right?
Right.
I think that's solid.
That's a pretty good one. Let's do a general just for the barrier. Let's just. I'm sure we've planned this all freaking ahead of time. As a slight retroactive action, what are roadblocks usually done in this particular universe?
Generally, it's done with large, heavy cylinders that project a hologram in between them. It's like a do not pass type of thing. You know what? Someone roll me a D100.
Do we need
I can
to
do
call?
it.
No. I got an idea in my head. Let's let Lady Luck decide this.
Okay.
All right. You are lucky. The resistance, being a resistance, and sometimes wanting to divert traffic for said reasons, happens to have a few of these.
Woo!
Neat.
And they're electronic?
Yes, they are electronic.
So, yeah. Okay, sweet.
All right.
So if we need to turn this on at a moment's notice, Anna can also do that.
Yeah, Anna, you're realizing more and more as you go through society, there aren't very many, if any, nuclear run things here. Most of it is electronic using super advanced batteries.
And they probably have not dealt with many zappers either.
Oh,
Not
God,
to your
no.
knowledge.
So I think that's a pretty good plan. Besides timing, which I mean, it's hard to do, like this outside and not in real time.
Right.
I think we have a plan.
Okay. So, you guys set up a barrier. Are all of you hiding in the access panel?
Let's see. I would like to hide in the access panel.
Okay. By the way,
go.
I was going to say, to give you guys some idea of scale here. Let me put your tokens. This is the size of you. So this is you versus the access panel.
All right. Oh, interesting.
Would there even be anywhere to hide up above ground, or should we really just be underground?
There are buildings to either side of you, so you can try and hide behind. There's like devices of unknown make or origin littered alongside, so you could theoretically like crouch behind something. Sure.
So then,
So in this areas,
is anyone standing by the barrier, or
I don't know. Would any of you like to step? First things first. Show me where you want to put the barrier.
Show me on the doll where you
Yeah.
want to put
So,
the barrier.
where did the barrier
Oh,
touch
God.
the map? Okay. Fair enough. And sure. So we'll say that. Yeah, sure. That's fine. That'll work. That's the barrier. Xavier, we can
That's my
say
name.
since the vehicle is headed this direction, we can say you're parked out of frame somewhere around up here, somewhere where you can still see what's going on.
Beautiful. Yeah, that works for me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So you have a clear line of sight, so you can
Mhm.
tell everyone who's underground, hey,
Yep.
it's coming, or
Can I
whatnot.
radio signal? I'm going to do a quick test. Can they hear me underground?
They absolutely can.
Excellent. Good. I'll be on the eyes for you. If there's anything strange, I'll let you know.
The only thing I'm concerned about is I just want to make sure we're actually stopping the right truck and not like a general car.
Well, I
like
can
even
tell
with
you
all
that.
traffic, I just still want to be sure.
Right, I can tell you that nothing looks quite like these, so you'll know when you got the right one. But the thing is, setting up that barrier, it's going to stop pretty much everyone from that point on. Because even if you shut it off, everyone knows what those barriers look like. It'd be like if you drive down the road and you see a roadblock that's not fully set up, you still know it's a roadblock, and you'd probably be like, maybe I shouldn't go there.
Yeah,
So-
like a bunch of cones and shit.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
then,
yeah.
should we have Lucas up there, like pretending to set up or take down the roadblock, depending on who's coming by? Because otherwise, we might just have a giant pile up.
You
Yeah,
could do that.
that's essentially what I was going to suggest.
All right,
Yeah.
since he's disguised and whatnot.
Got it. Lucas is setting up the roadblock, or acting like it. Mhm.
Yeah, he's gonna pretend for
His
a bit.
greatest role yet.
Got it. Okay.
How heavy are? Hopefully these aren't heavy enough, or like he just can't move them.
No, you could. What's your strength?
It's a 14. It's above average.
Yeah, it's above average. You're not going to be lifting any of these above your head or anything, but you can move them. You have to grunt a bit, but you can definitely move them.
Just make sure it's mechanical.
Just lift with the knees. For the love of God, lift with the knees.
Yeah, you don't want to end up like Squee.
All right, so yes, so Xavier is off in the distance, keeping an eye out. Lucas is by the barrier. Kid, Isaac, Anna, you guys are underground, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. And Lucas, please, like, quietly radio if you can when the truck's coming on, because I can sense if there's something above me. I might not be able to sense exactly what it is.
I
think Xavier should, because I would have a hard time using a radio without other people knowing.
Okay.
What do you need me to do?
Can you see me or see the street? Can Xavier see the street at all?
Yes,
Yes.
Xavier. Yeah, Xavier's parked further
Yeah,
down the street. Yeah,
Yeah, I positioned myself so I could see the street, so I could advise you of what's going on.
yeah.
Okay,
He's
perfect.
got as good a view as Lucas does. So.
Okay.
All right. So you guys get in there. You close the access hatch. Lucas.
Yeah.
Luckily, actually, I shouldn't say luckily. Roll me a D100.
Okay.
Luckily, no cars come down the road.
Yay!
So you just kind of sit there for about 5 minutes or so. No cars coming until you and Xavier both see a large float. It goes past the road. Then after about 30 seconds, you see it roll back, like reverse, stop, and turn to go down your road. And it's going down your road at a pretty decent clip. Lucas, you turn the barrier on.
I hope I can do that, I guess.
Yeah. It's like a little button you hit on the side.
Yeah, I'm going to like do a brief looking like he's just setting it down and then fiddling with it a bit.
Okay.
Good old acting.
Got it. So can I get one more person to roll me a D100, please?
I will,
Oopsie.
if I may.
No.
I've been rolling. 13.
Okay. Okay. It rolls on up, sees the barrier, and rolls to a stop right over the access panel.
Yeah.
And then you see a little window roll down and a cyber arm go, "Hey, I need to get through here."
At this point, Xavier will radio. He's right on top of you. Go nuts.
Lucas like turns around and like waves back at him. It starts very like casually like walking towards him like he's going to like talk to him at the window.
I gotta get over to the prison. We got a prisoner, the parade. Maybe you heard something about it.
He like Lucas like he like nods and holds up a finger like he's going to do something back over at the cone.
You see, for like the first time since you got there, you hear a and like see the arm just like slump.
See, they're just like organics.
All right, I'm going to basically give you guys a surprise round. Then,
Yay.
after that's done, depending on how things go, we will or we will not roll for initiative. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, he is, for the moment, focused on Lucas. The access panel opens. You guys have basically a free action. What do you want to do? To let you know, there is Lucas and Xavier. You can see there's one person driving on this side. This passenger window is open because he rolled it down to wave his arm, and I swear I'm trying so hard not to give him like a Brooklyn accent, but to wave his arms at Lucas. So that window is open.
Okay. I'm still pretty far away, and I'm not gonna use the free action myself. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Just gonna keep your eye out.
Yep, keep my eye out, exactly.
Got it. Xavier.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side, do you have any skills that you think would help you when it comes to keeping an eye out? Detect ambush or...
Yeah, I have detect ambush.
Okay. Roll that for me, please.
Okay, let me double check what it is. Detect ambush is 90%. And I get a 64.
Okay. Yeah. You are keeping your eyes around, but as far as you can tell, man, this is a great time to happen. There's no other cars around.
Good.
All right. Isaac, Kid, Anna.
Should we like roll for initiative?
No, like I said, you basically get a free round. So which means that I'll let you guys go in whatever order you want, and then after that round, if we need to, we'll roll for initiative.
I'll go
real
last.
quick. Do we need this particular vehicle intact?
No.
We need it out of the way afterwards. That's about it.
So if it's a flaming wreck, we can't move it.
I mean, we can. It's just gonna be Kid. But yeah, got it. So Kid's going to all right, so I'm suggesting that Kid go out first, essentially go into the vehicle through the window and go after the driver.
Sure.
Is that kosher?
Seems fine to me.
Go nuts.
All right, that's what Kid's gonna do then.
Okay. So let me get this straight. 4 foot
Mhm.
tall, fuzzy murder machine is about to jump through the driver's side window.
Completely
They're
armored.
in armor.
Yeah, that's true. So not fuzzy, just murder machine.
Yes, as far as they know.
All right then. Do you have acrobatics? I believe you do.
Yes, I do.
Okay. You know what? Isn't there oh gosh, I have to look it up. Isn't there like a pommel horse?
Pommel
what?
horse?
Pommel horse
There's
skill in
balancing
acrobatics?
bars, right?
Balance
Yeah, I've got
bars.
sense of balance, climb, and like
No,
a
there's
couple.
one that's like I think balancing bars is it, because that is quite literally you are
Parallel
kind of like,
bars.
parallel bars. That's what I was looking for.
That's gymnastics. You might have just
Yeah, that's
acrobatics.
just gymnastics in general.
Oh, do you have gymnastics?
I do.
Okay, that's what I would ask you to roll because that is like quite literally you trying to hop and propel yourself through a window.
I mean, I'm not saying like an actual roll for gymnastics. There's like a sense of balance and tightrope and a bunch of others, but they're all at just 98%. Should I just roll for
Yeah,
that?
just roll the 98%
Okay.
then.
Can do. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So Kid just walks out, walks up to the window, and as you like walk up to the window, you say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Kid like dives through the window. All right, are you? What are you doing? Because that's your movement. You still have the option of attacking, talking. What do you have? Like a split second to do something. Do you want to do something?
God.
By the way, I should point out this is a base cyber. They're not wearing any exoskeletons. It's just one of one of these guys.
Okay, I was about to ask that. Kid like moves like they're about to punch them in the face and then pauses and goes, "Stop driving or I hit you." Just like,
Wow.
I don't know.
Roll me an intimidate check, please. What's your skill? You don't have
I
one.
don't.
That's right, you're kid.
So I miss my unmanned by 8.
Man, he goes, "I'm not driving. Get off me!" And Anna, Isaac, you've got a split second to do something, or we're rolling initiative.
I'm turning off this engine.
Got it. Anna turns
All
off
right.
engine.
Is there a way I could do it like the projector where it just fucked it up?
No, projector's a
think so.
very soft, sensitive piece of equipment. This is a
That
car
is
engine.
fine. I just
Yeah.
want it off.
Yeah, it's off.
All right.
Isaac.
Can I get up and shoot him with the shutdown dart?
Yes, you can.
I was
Alright.
gonna say Jesus Christ, but okay, that
Only half
him.
of Jesus Christ.
All
In
right.
the
So
brain.
go ahead and shoot to hit.
And this is with a pistol to hit.
Correct.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
it is basically a pistol.
16.
That is more than enough to hit. He does not get to do an action because you can't parry a dart. I mean,
All right.
He can't. Maybe someone
So I'm going to use my computer operation roll.
can.
And what I'm looking to do is I am going to want him to go to sleep. Specifically
systems?
shut down systems, yes.
Okay.
Let me just
So that's at a
double-check
15%
this.
penalty. Computer operations.
Yes. Okay, so 15%. Okay, so I'm looking for a 64.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 5 on 64.
yeah.
So you this is the first time you've really used this weapon. You hold out the pistol looking device with a computer on the back of it, and you pull the trigger, and you hear like a small thunk as this little silver dart shoots from the barrel of the gun, pierces his softer neck region, and there's a little cable running from the barrel to the dart. It actually is like a little tiny line of wire, very strong wire. And the second it hits, he goes, "Ha! What's going on?" And you start tapping on the computer to do the shutdown sequence, and he goes, "I'm gonna call," and falls right on top of Kid.
All right, so can I control how long he sleeps?
3 minutes, my friend.
3 minutes total. Great. So here's the deal. He's going to call somebody unless we kill him. Do we want to?
Let's call. I think. Is this a good call or a bad call?
No, he's going to tell somebody that we jacked his ride.
I thought you
That's
meant
a bad call.
Yeah, we just give him to the one people, and they can hold him until we're done, or something. Kid's trying to lower the body count, okay?
Yeah, I'd rather not kill this guy. So
Does
yeah,
he have-
let's give him to the resistance somehow. Are they here?
What we can do is
Turn me into a puppet.
Oh my god.
What Lucas can do is he's gonna like do this kind of like what is it, not Zordon, freaking what is that little robot dude from Power
Alpha.
Rangers? He's gonna do the little that thing where he like puts his hands on his head and then kind of like waddles over. And then explains.
I need a GIF.
Isaac,
Like,
you
right
know
now.
well that this guy's unconscious. No one can see Lucas but you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll walk over and then like look over and then go, "Oh, you good? He's out." And then explains that like you can remove like his legs and arms and kind of just put that aside for the resistance to go and find whenever.
Okay, that's morbid, but
I mean, you're right, but Jesus.
yeah, you're right.
I was
But
just explained that they freaking like it's kind of like losing a
It's been
card.
established.
You can
Well,
put
yeah.
it right next to him, and
but
right,
how is
it's
that
fine,
going to
right?
block him from telling
Yeah,
somebody?
it's the phone.
It's the
like,
radio, the built-in
is
radio.
it external? Is it okay?
Well, you so here's what you know. Cyber 6 has an internal radio installed. That's how he broadcasted that. You don't know if other cybers do or don't, but you know that the capability's there.
Can I do a radio check to check?
Yeah, I mean, like he probably knows. He's dealt with cybers before, Isaac, so he probably knows at least the radio, and any particular other person that has any sort of electronics might be able to find it and just sever.
All right, Anna, roll me a surveillance check. Isaac, roll me a general engineering check. But both of them... Hang on. Well, no, we'll keep that. But both of them are at a minus 30 penalty.
That's still pass.
Okay. General mechanics?
Yes.
Right? Okay. All right, here's the target number. I did it.
Crap,
Yeah.
too. Okay, Jesus.
I have not failed an engineering check yet. I don't understand this.
So, Isaac, your experience trying to save Cyber 6's life, at some point in time, when you were connected telemechanically, you were able to tell, oh, hey, this is where he has his radio installed. You, using that knowledge, are able to guide Anna in her search, and you are able to find a radio of sorts. You're not able to uninstall it, not with the equipment you have on you. I mean, you'd need a workshop to uninstall that thing. But, Isaac, you can break it.
Okay. I would like to break it.
Okay.
Would
Isaac
like a
breaks the radio.
Okay,
Oh no,
sure.
it's like the device itself is fairly fragile. That's why it's installed so deeply in the system.
Okay.
So literally, it's a matter of like pulling some wires apart.
Okay. So we do that. We take him out of the vehicle, and then we just put him. Maybe we could just put him inside of the little hidey hole that we were using, and then just get this vehicle off the street and go.
What about the other guy? Because aren't there two of them?
No, there's only one.
No, there's only one.
Oh.
Perfect.
I'm losing my
Yeah,
mind
we did
then.
it.
That's fine.
Does that sound good?
Well,
Yeah.
are we gonna remove his legs and arms?
Do we want to spend the time to do that, or do we want to get Cyber 6 and go?
Get Cyber 6.
I think
Yeah,
that's a
can
good
we-
idea.
Yeah, I'm
Focus
gonna
on
say.
our goal.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, especially with that role, Isaac. I mean, you don't have the tools to do it. You
I
could. You'd
do.
have to hack them off or shoot them off.
I have a Psy sword, Squee.
That's what I was gonna say. You'd have to hack or shoot them off. But yes,
Yeah.
just letting you know. All right, so you guys you're going to pull him out of there, put him in the access tunnels.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Can
Are
we
you going to-
lock the door?
Not that you guys know of.
Okay.
Are you going to restrain him in some way?
We can remove his arms.
Did we bring rope?
And
All right,
I
Nope,
said
got it.
remove.
Kid can remove
Like
them.
Lucas said.
Kid has amazing claws and shit. Just take his arms off. Right?
Yeah, Kid's just
Would
gonna
that
take
work?
off the fucking arms and legs.
Okay, there you
Kid
go.
takes off the arms and legs, lays
You
it
can
by
even-
him.
yeah, you can just put it beside. It's not lost. It's just a little broken.
It's just
Yeah.
gonna have to go to the doctors.
Got it. And what are you
All right.
doing with the float itself?
Lucas,
Shove it in an
You-
alley.
you, quote unquote, drive it into an alley.
I can quote unquote do that.
Okay. So then Isaac and the rest of the guys should just meet up with Xavier, get into our hidey holes, and then
Got
when
it. Lucas,
Lucas is done, then we can go.
Lucas, roll me a driving check.
All right.
You can do it.
Oh Jesus!
Xavier,
Yeah.
Xavier, you're watching all this from afar. It looks like things are
Yeah.
going well. They somehow subdued him. They're
Okay,
getting him down
okay.
there. Okay. You see Lucas get in the driver's seat. You see him look around for a bit. And then starts running the vehicle into everything, trying to
Oh,
drive it into an
God.
alleyway. Trying to drive it like it's one of those things like there's an alleyway and he'll miss the turn and hit the building, then back up and then overcompensate, hit the other building,
Oh,
then
what the
back up. And
Fuck is he? Jesus! Oh yeah, I drove a bulldozer into a wall. Great, good job.
Lucas,
I can't stop him.
Yeah, I know. I'm just showing you what you
Oh,
see.
I know. I'm just being a
Lucas, I mean,
douche.
you have to succeed eventually. So eventually, you get
I
it
like
in there,
that.
scraping along the side, like you get it into the alleyway to pull it off about 30 feet. And hey, that wasn't so hard. You got it in the alleyway. It's good.
Lucas crawls out of the top of the vehicle.
Oh my God.
Because you get it on your side. Not room to open the door. So everyone, you see after about 30 seconds of this, he gets out, joins you guys, joins Xavier in the passenger seat.
Kid the entire time was just holding down their ears, trying to repress the noise.
It was pretty loud.
Xavier's gonna turn to Lucas and he's gonna say, "You better hope I don't get hurt while we're doing our escape, because I think you're a little too confident on your abilities there, bud."
It's just a new vehicle. I have never driven one of these before, but bulldozers, I drove 2 of those.
You
Oh.
broke one of them.
Yeah.
Whoa, what was that?
But the
noise?
other one, I got out perfectly, so I don't want
I
to
don't
hear it.
Oh my God. Kid
Not
rolls
even
their
you
eyes.
could have done that one.
All right. With that, driver subdued, dismantled. Float hidden for the time being. Xavier, you know the path to the prison.
All right. Let's get everyone aboard. Make sure everyone's in position, and I'm gonna start driving us.
All right. So give me a second. Let me move everyone out first. Get back here. You you drive down the street. You move on to the flat terrain. And you would have been told this too. The area around the prison is just flat terrain, obviously, so it's harder for people to escape. But also, there's not a road per se. You just drive a straight line to the front gate. And you
Okay.
pull up to where the front gate is, and excuse me. Are you pulling? So you have two options. You can pull this up so that you are facing the gate, or Lucas is facing the gate.
I am facing the gate.
Got it.
But he practiced.
Good for him. Yes.
You drive up to where you're facing the gate, and after about 3 or 4 minutes of tense waiting, the doors open, and you see a procession come out. There are 6 of the heavily armored cyber units. These guys.
Okay.
2 of them are holding between them what looks vaguely like Cyber 6. You've never seen Cyber 6 without his exoskeleton on. He looks similar to the other cybers you've seen without their exoskeleton, but he also has and Lucas and Xavier at the moment, you're the only ones to see this, but he is missing an eye. It looks like it's been torn out, and several places on his body have scorch marks. And they have that kind of Pantene to them, that they look like they were from a high temperature precision flame.
Okay.
And he is being dragged between them at the moment. He is not moving, or his head lolls a little bit back and forth. And the 6 units walk up to the vehicle. 4 of them, including the ones taking Cyber 6, kind of start going off towards the middle of the vehicle, and the other 2 come up to your side. Yes, Lucas.
May I, before they get too close, duck down and suck down a bit of air?
Yes.
Alright, cool.
Yes, you can. And comes up to the vehicle and raps on the window.
I will. Just for the record, my voice is super high too, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I'll, I guess, roll down the window and look to them.
You're late.
I will nod my head.
Why are you late?
I'll turn to Lucas.
He looks deep within him, like he's pondering. Try to make sure that he gets that nice pause in before he says, "Traffic."
Oh, crap. The power outage. He'll look over to where the power outage is, which is clearly visible from the prison.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll look back down. There are 2 of you. We were told there would be only the driver.
I'm gonna shrug and look towards Lucas.
Lucas is gonna have to make up a number on the spot.
Can I suggest something out of character?
Sure.
We got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather this be. Yeah.
Let's see. I think you'll. Her voice box is broken.
I will nod. And then gesture to my upper chest and make a slashing motion.
All right. Lucas,
Yep.
roll me a trust check with a 20 penalty.
You got it. Let's see. All right. 20 penalty. Fail by 5.
That's not horrible.
No.
He looks at you, Xavier, and then back to Lucas. Then we should have been informed that another passenger would be coming. There have been odd circumstances.
I nod.
And he goes, very well. We will increase the security to ensure your safety. And then he motions for the others, and they start like dragging Cyber 6 up on top of the APs of the float. Sorry, I see that. I just think APC. And you guys can't see what they're doing from where you are, but you can definitely hear. It looks like they're attaching Cyber 6 to the dais up there. And you see, or you notice that 4 of the guards that went up there, they are still up there, and they take looks like they take positions up there. And the guard that was standing there the whole time, after they're done, they have him attached. He looks to Xavier and he says, drive to the main street, keep the speed slow, and know that they could attempt, terrorists I mean, to rescue him. Be watchful.
I will nod vigorously.
And then those 2 will leave. So you've got Cyber 6 on the dais, 4 of the really big guys around him. You're not exactly sure where they are because no one has view on top of your vehicle at the moment.
Sure.
But you are cleared to drive off.
And for the record, Cyber 6 is affixed to the poles, right?
Yeah. You definitely heard the sounds of
thumping and
attachment. Like you heard like bolts of some kind.
Groovy. All right, cool. Well, for now, until otherwise, I'll let you know. I will follow those instructions. I will go smooth and slow and not erratically, and I will be with everyone else, and I'll be the perfect little freaking cyber driver.
Okay. Perfect. Now,
oh, this is cool. Good idea, guys.
I'm going to ask, I love that you guys have done this. However, this has been completely unforeseen on my part. And as much as I enjoy this on a GM, I was like to ask if we can go ahead and stop here for the week so that I have time to actually do this right instead of trying to pull such a important event out of the air.
Well, also the fact that it'll probably take you, since it's spur of the moment, it'll take you about 10-15 minutes to prepare, and then we got half an hour to do this?
Yeah,
I doubt
exactly.
It's going to take a half hour, so yeah, let's stop here then.
Everyone else fine with that?
Mm-hmm.
Good, great. Because I agree. I think this is a brilliant plan. I'm glad that you guys did it. I thought you were breaking into prison, so...
Well, so did I.
So did I, yeah.
But it's fine. I honestly think that, if nothing else, it keeps the GM on their toes.
Yep.
But I think that something like what happens next, you guys trying to escape, whatever the case may be, I don't want to try and improv all of that. So I will prepare for next session.
Groovy.
Right. Well, everyone on YouTube, I guess we'll see you next Wednesday. And don't forget, Riffs on Sunday. And Curse of the Crimson Throne, not this Friday, but next Friday. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.